Hey, what is up, my fellow guardians of the grid? Welcome back to another streaming session. Today we will be jumping back into Diablo 3, but it won't be a typical video. Today we will be just doing another showcase. Certainly want to thank you if you're checking out the live stream today on Twitch. Also want to say thank you if you are checking out the replay on YouTube. If you enjoyed today's content and are not yet subscribed, all I can say is, what are you waiting for? Don't be shy. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm not a pro. I'm not a noob. I'm just a regular dude who enjoys video games. Started streaming that with the rest of the world, and I welcome anybody who wants to help grow this channel with me. So any feedback that you have, it is welcome. Please make sure you leave it in the comment section below. And again, if you are new, make sure that you hit the follow button if you're on Twitch. Make sure you hit the sub button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're made aware anytime I go live or anytime I upload a video to the channel. If I see that you are a new subscriber, I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the next video. And I do have to say we have grown quite a bit in the past few weeks, and I certainly want to say thank you to all of those who have participated or done their part to make that happen. For those of you that are already subscribed to the channel, I certainly want to say thank you for returning to view the new content. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It certainly means the world to me, and I look forward to continuing on thanks to your motivation. So thank you so much again. I do have a collection of YouTube shorts that I've uploaded to the channel, so if you're into that type of content, make sure you check that out. Make sure you share that with fellow guardians, fellow gamers, fellow family members, anybody who you think would enjoy that. I do have links for both of the channels. I don't have much social media, so any chance you have to share the channel, it really means more to me than you could ever imagine. So that's why I always say this channel is yours to help grow as well. With that said, the links for both channels, the link for the YouTube is located in the Twitch description. The Twitch link is located in the YouTube description. Again, make sure you share that with your fellow gamers and fellow guardians. All right. So again, today I will be doing a lot more talking since, as I mentioned, we'll be doing another showcase. Today I'll be doing a showcase on my wizard for Diablo 3. Been doing a lot of Diablo because Diablo 4 is on the way. From what I understand is that it's supposed to drop sometime next year in April. Now, obviously in the gaming world, that can switch at the drop of a hat, but I would assume that given some of the recent titles that have dropped, they're probably going to want to get that done as projected. But I digress. I'm on a quest to try and complete the Paragon. I want to see if I can't fill this entire board before the next installment comes out. You know, I do have a lot of resources and whatnot, so that's really my main focus. Now, moving over to the showcase, as I mentioned, I'll be taking a look at my wizard. So first thing that we'll start off with is the skills, just like we did before. Just kind of give you an idea of the skills that I chose and some of the armor that I use to buff that up or try to make them as strong as possible. To start off, I use the signature spell Spectral Blade. I use the rune attachment Throne Blade. This extends the reach to increase the damage of Spectral Blade. Spectral Blade's damage turns into lightning damage. So that one I picked in particular because there are buffs that help to increase that specific elemental damage. The next one that I picked here was Disintegrate. This is 18 arcane power with the Intensify rune. Enemies hit by Disintegrate take increased damage from Arcane. So that's another ability that I chose based on the armor setup that I have, which I'll go over that a little bit later on in the video. The next item that I picked was Meteor. This is 40 arcane power. The rune that I attached to it was the Meteor Shower, so that it unleashes a volley of small meteors. So keep in mind that the runes, you can kind of select which rune that you want. I select runes based on which ones receive the most buff. So in this case, I chose volley of meteors as opposed to one giant meteor because I feel like you're getting more splash damage out of that. So again, it really depends on what you prefer. You don't have to follow the runes exactly, but again, you want to make sure that the runes coincide with the armor or additional buffs that you have. Moving on, I chose the defensive ability Teleport for my Y button. This would be it has a cooldown of 11 seconds. It doesn't cost anything to use it. It's really a free ability, and if you buff it the right way, this thing becomes a little OP. So with that said, the rune that I chose was Wormhole. So after casting Teleport for a short duration, you may cast Teleport again. So that was one of the reasons I chose that, is because it gives me multiple casts on this, and so I can clear out of a tough situation a lot easier. The next thing that I picked here for my B button was Storm Armor. This only costs 25 arcane power. This increases movement speed whenever you are hit by a melee or ranged attack. So that was the rune that I picked, was Scramble. I chose to put that one on there because I like the ability to move around a little bit quickly. In this game, you know, if you're not fast enough, you can get caught by ranged attacks, you know, like a small fireball or something that kind of, you know, just kind of sneaks by your peripherals. The next item that I picked was a defensive ability. That would be Frost Nova. The cooldown for this is only 11 seconds. It doesn't really have a cost either. It's just the cooldown, no pun intended. The rune that I picked was Bone Chill. Enemies take more damage while frozen or chilled by Frost Nova. The reason I picked this one in particular is because I needed something to kind of mitigate the damage from close ranged attacks. One of the things about this character in particular, she does move kind of fast. Sometimes you'll find yourself running right into a crowd of enemies, and I just needed something like a little bit of a grenade to clear out the area, or at least slow people down so I can create some distance with the teleport here. Okay. The next thing here will be the passive skills. So we'll start at 1, go to 4. Try to be a little more organized. In the past 2 videos that I've done, I kind of reviewed over those and tried to learn from that. But one thing you want to keep in mind with the passive abilities, again, you don't have to do them exactly like mine. You can kind of map it out the way that you want. This is really just, you know, a setup that I prefer. And again, I try to pick things that'll work or coincide with other buffs that I have or other armors that I have. So the first one here was Arcane Dynamo. When you cast a signature spell, you gain Flash of Insight. After 5 flashes of Insight, your next non-signature spell deals 60% additional damage. So this can stack very quickly and a lot. You can stack this up quite a bit, so it gets to the point where it's almost a regular attack. So after throwing out, and it'll show you right here what attacks are considered signature spells. You have Missiles, Shock Pulse, Spectral Blade, and Electrocute. So I chose Spectral Blade, so therefore I get a buff off of that, and ultimately it increases the damage of my Meteor attack, or my Disintegrate, or the Frost, the Nova Frost. The next thing that I chose was, for my passive 2, I chose Evocation, reduce cooldowns by 20%. So this just, because of the fact this character has a couple of abilities that don't require any type of arcane power. It's one, like for example, the teleport, I can use it a lot faster. I mean, the cooldown is less than a second, so I can just zip around everywhere that I need to. And again, that's one of the reasons why Frost Nova or some type of close range mitigation attack is good, because sometimes you'll teleport yourself right into a horde of enemies and not even mean to, because she's just zipping around all over the place. Right, and the next ability that I chose, oh, let me make sure, yeah, I explained that one. Okay, so the next one was passive 3. This is going to be the Elemental Exposure. Damaging enemies with arcane, cold, fire, excuse me, or lightning will cause them to take 5% more damage from your attacks, or for 5 seconds. Each different type applies this stacking up to 4 times, and then of course, it gives you elemental damage from your weapon contributes to elemental exposure. Adding insult, oh, that's just the quote. But that's one of the reasons I I chose to put Throne Blade on Spectral Blade, is because, again, this buff in particular does help with that. And then, of course, Frost Nova, Storm Armor, and Disintegrate. These all have some type of connection to that specific buff. The next one was Paralysis. This gives me the ability for lightning spells to have a 15% chance to stun all targets for 1.5 seconds. So again, this is really really helpful when you think about just kind of mitigating damages that are coming in that you're not really seeing. You may hit an enemy that stuns them for a little bit. That might be the guy that sneaks up on you and puts the dagger in the back. So definitely useful to have. All right. Now, for the next thing that I chose, if your character is high enough, or if they're up there, you get the opportunity to select 3 additional powers. Now, these powers are extracted from ancient legendary weapons, and the way that you do that is you come here to the Kanai's Cube, you extract legendary power, and then you'll essentially have that, and then you can equip them here under powers. You just hit the tab over button and you can equip them here. But I digress. The powers that I chose was Grand Vizier. This reduces arcane power cost of meteor by 50% and increases its damage by 400%. So you can see why that was an obvious choice, especially considering my meteor is, it's a volley, and again, it just really devastates the battlefield. The next one that I picked was the Shame of I can't pronounce this. The Shame of Delzir, I want to say it is. Your signature spells attack 50% faster and restore 12 arcane power. So obvious reason, with the Spectral Blade, it is already a very fast attack. By throwing this on there, you are now multiplying that damage and, of course, increasing resources. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I enjoy buffs that give me 2 for the price of 1. So the fact that I get a 50% faster attack speed, on top of that, I get an increased arcane power regain. The last thing I picked was Ring of Royal Grandeur, and now this doesn't really coincide with any of these specific passives or skill abilities. This particular Ring of Grandeur, it reduces the number of items needed for set bonuses by 1, minimum 2. So for this would be this is directly attached to my armor, and this really is a good segue into that. So moving over, the first thing I wanted to knock out is the Death Wish. The Death Wish I chose because you can see here it says, while channeling Arcane Torrent, Disintegrate, or Ray... Oh, did I forget that? Did I forget to do Disintegrate? I sure did. Well, just in case, I don't want to go back. Disintegrate is something I chose for my right trigger. Channel a beam of pure energy that pierces through all enemies, and then I chose the Intensify rune because enemies hit by Disintegrate take increased arcane damage. So because Disintegrate is an arcane damage already, as you're hitting them with it, it increases in damage. So the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's really the idea behind that buff. Now, again, moving over to Death Wish, this directly correlates with that. As I'm channeling Arcane, Disintegrate, or Ray of Frost, this will deal, for at least 1 second, all damage is increased by 317%. So, again, as it increases, it's a snowball effect, no pun intended. So the next few items here are going to be set. These are set items, or armor sets. The Tal Rajash is the Tal Rajash armor is what I chose, or Rajaj. Is it Rajaj? You guys can probably correct me if you care enough to leave a comment. But the Tal Rajash elements, if you have... Now, this is one of the reasons I have the Ring of Grandeur, is because now I can have 2 armor sets and get a bonus off of them, and without having to sacrifice another armor slot for it. So in this case, I have the gloves, the Tal Rajash arm gloves. We'll say that. I have the Tal Rajash, what is it called, armor, and then I have the Tal Rajash helmet. I have the Tal Rajash pendant, and I have the Tal Rajash bracers and the belt. Let me count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I guess I have all 6. Oh, that's right. The Ring of Grandeur is for the other item set, but yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So with that, with the 2 set, I get damaging enemies with Arcane Cold Fire. Lightning will grant immunity to that element and cause a meteor of that same damage type to fall from the sky. This only occurs if the wizard has meteor on their action bar, and the same meteor cannot happen twice in a row. So this is why I have different elements, or why I try to mix it up during the game or during gameplay, is because you can literally stack multiple meteor attacks, which is already one of her most powerful attacks. You can stack it multiple times, causing devastation throughout the battlefield, and you can Thanos snap people without a thought. It's awesome. So maybe I'll do a little bit of a run after this so you guys can see. I felt like maybe after, I was thinking about in the previous video, maybe doing a quick little Nephilim run just so you guys can see the build in action. So, maybe we'll have some time to tackle that. But I digress. If we want to have time to do that, I got to stop the gabbing, or the sidetracking. But the next one is the 4-set. Arcane, Cold, Fire, and Lightning attacks each increase all of your resistance by 100% for 8 seconds. Attacking with Meteor reduces cooldown of Teleport by 1 second. So literally, I am zipping around the place like I'm Nightcrawler with this character. It's pretty awesome. Now, the next one, this is for the 6th and final item set. Attacks increase your damage by 2,000% for 8 seconds. Arcane, Cold, Fire, and Lightning attacks each add 1 stack. After 4 stacks, each different element attack extends the duration by 2 seconds up to a minimum of 8 seconds. So, I know that's a lot of words to say 2,000% damage for 8 seconds, but there you go. All right. Now, the next item set is going to be the Firebirds, the Firebird sets that I have. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is the reason I have the Ring of Grandeur, is because even though I have only 3 sets of armor, I still get the buff for having 4. So, for example, in this case, you see here, it'll have the ones that I have, or the ones that I'm missing grayed out, which is 1, 2, and 3. Or excuse me, which is the ones that I do have are bolded in, so that would be the Fire Pinions, the Firebird's Eye, and the Firebird's Tarsi. Now, this here it directly correlates to the Disintegrate Beam. Disintegrate ignites enemies, causing them to take 3,000% weapon damage per second until they die. When you die, a meteor falls from the sky and revives you. This effect has a 60-second cooldown. So, as I mentioned with one of my other buffs, it does reduce the cooldown by 20% for a lot of my stuff, and then I have other buffs that reduce my cooldown. So this is really cool to have, especially because, again, sometimes you find yourself zipping around and you'll teleport right into, a death move, and poof, she's gone. But you do have a death from the grave, or a death from the grave type of thing. Paying a little homage to Master Chief, just throwing that last grenade and then reviving after that. The last set bonus that you get is the 4-set, or the bonus set for 4. This is casting. This allows casting Disintegrate, adds combustion stacks that reduce the cooldown of Teleport by 2% per stack. Stacks up to 50 times. You gain 80% damage reduction while maintaining combustion attacks. So again, long way of saying you can teleport a lot more. So that's pretty much the build that I have. Again, when it comes to a lot of these skills, you don't have to do it exactly like this. You can kind of move them around based on how you like. This is really just putting it out there to just help other gamers who are looking to do some different things, or perhaps maximize their buffs, that, or just looking for different ways that other players approach the game. So if you guys have any feedback, or if you have a build yourself that you want to share, you can leave it in the comments, or if you have a video yourself that you want to share, maybe if you do have a build that looks pretty cool, maybe I'll do a build similar to it and do a showcase on that and give you credit for it. So at this point, you know what? I think we do have a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and do a Nephilim Rift real quick so we can see this build in action. Level 7? No, we don't want to do level 70. We want to make sure that it leaves a favorable image on the board. Okay. And if you enjoy these types of videos where I kind of give you some background on some of my gaming styles, by all means, just leave a comment. Again, one of the big reasons I went ahead and did this video is because it looked like we got a lot of we got a lot of views on the YouTube channel, so that was really cool. That was really a lot of feel goods in the heart there when I saw that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Definitely lifted up my day to see that people were interested in some of the content that we're putting out. But yeah, if you guys really enjoy that, or if this is something that you guys enjoy, I will do another one, because again, I think I have a build for each class. I just maxed out the Necromancer, so she's ready to roll too for a nice little showcase video as well. And I kind of forgot what I'm doing here.
Need more time.
So as you can see, like, I can just zip around all I want. Like nobody's safe.
Warming up.
That's this one. I'm just gonna take everybody out. Like, I don't even know where that barrier came from. I don't even know what buff that is. That's crazy.
Not ready yet.
You see, yeah, like I said, you can kind of zip around all you want. Like you see, it's ridiculous. You know, you throw a little. Every time you kill something, like I'm not even doing those meteor drops. It's just happening because people are dying from different things. You just got to make sure not to spam one elemental attack, because then you kind of lose the the rhythm of the meteors. You want to make sure those meteors are gone. It just clears everything out so crisply. Yeah, boom, out. Moving on.
Still waiting. See me now.
This helps. Yeah. See, I was hoping I could. The teleport also helps to extend combos because you can clear large distances and just get right into the mix, so you can kind of chain things together a lot easier, a lot more easily. Easier, a lot easier.
Still waiting. I am so good. I astound myself. Need more time.
Oop.
I'll be telling stories about that for a while.
Yes, indeed. The it's always good to have a nice positive
Not ready.
You know, after we do, if the videos do well with the showcases, maybe I'll do a showcase on the on my following. You know, just give you guys, show you guys how I set them up to kind of be more useful than not. I like games that give you an NPC that is actually useful. You know, I think one game that did that very well is Breakpoint. Breakpoint and Wildlands both have phenomenal NPCs. Like, they are just awesome. Who's got another good NPC? Well, you know, and while I'm thinking about it, just to kind of comment more on the Tom Clancy's NPCs, well, and more specifically, I want to make, because I know that not all Tom Clancy games are made equally.
Still waiting.
And I say that in jest, but for those of you that have played different Tom Clancy games, you know exactly what I'm talking about, in the sense that each game has its own little element. You know, like Division is not Breakpoint by any means, but I digress. The Breakpoint and the Wildlands series, I don't feel like they did anything better than anybody else, just outside of the fact that they were able to utilize the strengths of the NPC to better assist you during the game, if that makes any sense. So they took the things that NPCs do well and they made it work with the player. So it makes it seem like it's a superior NPC system. But really, they just perfected the tools that it's kind of like the perfect mousetrap ideal, you know, or reinventing the mousetrap, if you will. They made it so easy to command them, and made them so responsive, so responsive. You know, just very easy to command. You know, and coming from being a control freak myself, it's just nice. And I say that jokingly. I say control freak jokingly. And I don't want people thinking like I'm some psychotic individual who has to control every aspect of one's life. I understand. There's chance, and sometimes chance is in your favor, and most of the time. Anywho. As you could, as I was saying, with a lot of the NPCs, obviously Diablo having a very good NPC, they don't get in the way. You're not constantly. I hate NPCs where I'm constantly having to revive them. Oh my goodness. Now, another one that I can say I'm impressed with, and I can't say that I'm impressed with it from experience. It's really from what I've seen. Because, being a gamer, I do watch other gaming channels. There's one in particular. I'm not sure if any of you've actually seen it, but they do a lot of the the Last of Us kill streaks, or the Last of Us perfect kills. I feel like the NPCs in that game are really good. Again, I could just, that's just from an outside looking in. I could just be talking out the side of my neck. For those of you that have played that game, if you agree with me, go ahead and leave a comment. If not, again, leave a comment. I like to hear opinions from the other side. Let's see, looking for stuff here. So yeah, like I was saying though, this build in particular, it does really well in solo gameplay, and it's super helpful when you're playing with other friends. They can always appreciate a nice little meteor barrage one right after. Like, look at that. Meteors are falling out of the sky off screen. It's just awesome. It helps to kind of gives you a signal on where to go. Hey, drop the bombs over here. Or dropping bombs before infantry gets there type of deal. Good old Air Force. The first branch to work from home.
Need more time.
Got people flying UAV patrolling planes from halfway across the world. It's amazing.
Your defenses are nothing.
We're almost done with this rift here. Oh man, I was trying to keep that one rolling. I do have a short where, or two of them, where she has some pretty high. Let me check the map before I just start running around all nimble bimble. But I have I put up a couple of shorts recently that kind of displayed some of her. It was like peak wizard, because for those of you that play Diablo, or for those of you that are that would like to play Diablo and would like to have a pretty good idea of the gameplay is. You have to figure out a way. It's kind of like Magic the Gathering, right? If you ever played Magic the Gathering, I'm not doing a very good job at doing analogies at this point. It's like, well, it's like this. But anyway, if you played things like Magic the Gathering or other card games, it takes a while to get them rolling. So one of the best, what I've learned anyway, I don't want to say, well, this is the best way. I don't think that there's ever one best way to play a video game. Everybody has their own ways, and it's just the way it is. That's our way of enjoying the money that we spend. Honestly, let me just take a little side. I hate when people try to force me to play a game that I paid for the way that they would play it. You go to, like, for example, this is. I go to play Call of Duty. This is way back in the day. Well, I can't believe I'm saying. I'm aging myself, because honestly, the 360 was like the 7th console that came out from the time I was a kid. But anyway, I remember when the 360 was out and everybody was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 360, and people would just, oh no, why are you running this? You need to run it this way and this way, that way. And it's like, well, no. One of the reasons why I don't want to run it this way is because I'm getting kills. I play games to enjoy them. I don't play games to appease other people. I'm not a very good yes man, if you will. I like to do things my way, and I guess that kind of goes back to my controlling ways. I don't know if that's controlling so much as it's just me being my own individual self. But anyway, let me step off the soapbox there. I don't want to get all preachy on you guys. But essentially, I like, I don't feel like there's any one specific way that you should play any game. Everybody plays a game very differently, and sometimes it works for them. It's just the way it is. And I like to hear, I like to see other people's thought process, because it helps you with a lot of frustration in life, because then when you see people do weird stuff and you just can't explain it, you can say, well, I know a guy who did this kind of stuff, and here's why. Or I know a lady who used to do that kind of stuff, and here's why. And then sometimes, it's beneficial, because then you can say, no, I've seen somebody who does that before, and they're no good. They're garbage. That's garbage material. That's garbage.
You have tried.
Cough it up, cough it up, cough it up. Alright, now, if you've never met this lady, this is Urshi. Urshi will allow you to upgrade one of these high-speed gems. These gems, you equip them to other items, and it makes them super awesome. Like, for example, this one can be inserted into weapons with sockets. Monster kills grant plus 1750 experience, and a level requirement of the item this gem is socketed to is set to 1. So you could basically put this into a super gassed up, or if you start like a new character, you can put this gem into a gassed up weapon and then just give it to him at a level 1, and then you could just mow through everything. It's pretty awesome. I used to have a couple armor sets where God, it took me forever to do this, but I had a gem and I was able to socket it to a few items, and I literally had a brand new character that was just mowing through the game. Like I was able to max the difficulty with ease, which is why it's called the Gem of Ease. Little pun, little dad humor there. Do you have to be a dad for it to be dad humor? Let's see, what do we got? Increase the damage of promotion. You also want to make sure you pay attention to the upgrade chance. Like, I'll do it because I can just burn one here, but if you see the upgrade chance is 90, let's see if it does it. Oh, it actually did it. Let's see if it does it again. Oh, it sure did. One more, let's see. It's down to 70, let's see. Oh man, I'm getting lucky. Oh, we're out. But yeah, sometimes it won't even upgrade because it'll,
I need to go back.
because so just because the percentage or the chance to do so, it's pretty low. Let's close this up.
Well done, champion.
I didn't think I could get any better.
And it's just nice because literally every time I finish one of these, I level up. It's so awesome because of just how many buffs that you have that give you so much experience points. Be sure to repair, get rid of these, and right there. Here, talk to this fella again. Alright, let's get rid of stuff. Oh, no, it's all good stuff. I wouldn't say good stuff. See, one of the things I don't do is I won't keep these. I will go ahead and scrap those, but before I do, I like to come over to the cube and see if there's any legendary power that I can extract. Now, I already know that if it's new, it's going to be on top of this list. So anytime I see Fury of the Ancients, I already have that power, and so everything after that, subsequent to that, I already have that power as well. So a little tidbit for you if you're trying to do a quick little in and out on this. Alright, and now we're going to give these items back to our boy. Here, forget his name. Hedrick, that's right. Okay. Get rid of it. Alright. So that is my demon hunter, that is my wizard build. This is really, again, just kind of how I approach the situation. So if you have a specific build, or if you enjoy the build that I have, if there's maybe some things that you would tweak about it, any feedback that you have, or any opinion that you may have, certainly wouldn't mind hearing that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's content, again, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the sub and the notification bell as well. I certainly want to thank you if you are joining me on the live stream today. I also want to say thank you if you are checking out the replay on YouTube. A like and a subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything, but it does mean the world to me. If you are new to the channel and are not yet subscribed, all I can say is, what are you waiting for? Don't be shy, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm a pretty nice guy. As always, I'm not a pro, I'm not a noob, just a regular dude who enjoys video games, started streaming that with the world, and I welcome anybody who wants to help grow this channel with me. I do have a collection of YouTube shorts that I've uploaded to the channel, so be sure to check that out. Make sure you share that with fellow gamers, fellow guardians, fellow family members, anybody who you think would enjoy that content. Be sure to hit the sub button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit, I already went over that kind of stuff. Don't want to ask you for your stuff over again. Ultimately, I think I've talked pretty much your guys' ear off today. This is a lot more commentating than I'm used to doing, but once I get to gabbing, it's usually hard to stop. But definitely want to thank you all for stopping by today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or any just feedback, make sure you leave it in the comments below. And I hope that you guys have a safe rest of the night. I'm not sure what my upload schedule is looking like. I haven't, this new job, they got me going through training and all that fun stuff. You know, for those of you out there that have been through it, you know what I mean. But once I get on a set schedule, I'll be able to kind of figure out where I'm gonna be able to stream. This weekend, I will be trying to get a couple videos out. I really want to try to max out this Paragon before it is too late. So I'll be pushing that quest, and then I also have other things in the mix. I do have I did have something in mind because, you know, we did reach 25 subscribers way back, and now that my life has kind of gotten back on track, I'm able to really focus on trying to give back to the community. So I definitely want to thank my fellow Guardians again. Also want to wish you guys a safe rest of the night. Please enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will catch you Guardians on the next grid.